I am the chosen one.
Donald Trump. You know the name, you know the hair. His presence is unmistakable and his influence undeniable. You probably have a strong opinion about him. Whether it's admiration or disdain, Trump evokes powerful emotions. Whether you love him or hate him, one thing's for sure. Trump changed the game of American politics. He brought a new kind of energy and unpredictability to the political arena. Forget the usual smooth-talking politicians, the ones who carefully measure every word and avoid anything controversial at all cost. Trump was loud, brash, and always ready for a fight. He thrived on confrontation and made headlines with his bold statements. He tweeted insults, ignored the rules, and somehow won over millions of Americans. His use of social media was unprecedented and often shocking. How did he do it? How did a man with no political experience capture the highest office in the land? That's what we're here to explore. Was it pure instinct? Or was there a method to the madness? Was it a calculated strategy or sheer luck? Trump's rise to power was nothing short of remarkable. He was a businessman, a reality TV star, and a political outsider. He had never held elected office before. Yet he managed to break through the political establishment and connect with voters in a way that few could have predicted. Yet he managed to tap into a deep well of anger and frustration among many Americans. They felt disillusioned with the status quo and were looking for a change. They were tired of the establishment. They were fed up with politicians who seemed out of touch with their daily struggles. They felt ignored and left behind. Trump spoke to their concerns and promised to be their champion. Trump promised to shake things up. He vowed to drain the swamp and bring a new era of prosperity. He promised to make America great again. This slogan became a rallying cry for his supporters, and, for better or worse, he certainly made an impact. His presidency was marked by significant changes and constant media attention. Trump's style was unlike anything we'd seen before. He was a master of branding and self-promotion. His name became synonymous with a new kind of political identity. He knew how to control the narrative. He dominated the news cycle and kept the public's attention focused on him. And he wasn't afraid to bend the truth or attack his opponents. His aggressive tactics often left his rivals scrambling. He connected with his supporters on an emotional level. They felt he understood their struggles and would fight for them. They saw him as a strong man, a fighter who would stand up for their interests. His opponents, however, saw him in a very different light. His opponents saw him as a demagogue, a leader who exploited fears and prejudices to gain power, a threat to democracy itself. They warned that his rhetoric and actions could undermine democratic institutions. Trump's presidency was a wild ride. It was filled with highs and lows, triumphs and scandals. He divided the country like never before. His policies and statements often sparked intense debate and division. He sparked protests and controversies on an almost daily basis. His presidency was a constant source of drama and conflict, but he also got things done. He appointed conservative judges, he cut taxes, he renegotiated trade deals. His supporters point to these achievements as evidence of his effectiveness. He shook up the global order. His approach to foreign policy was unconventional and often controversial. Love him or hate him, Trump left his mark on America. His legacy will be debated for years to come. But was he a Machiavellian mastermind or a Nietzschean force of nature? Was his success the result of careful planning or sheer willpower? Let's dive into the minds of two of history's most influential thinkers to find out. By examining their philosophies, we may gain insight into the enigmatic figure that is Donald Trump. To understand Trump, we need to go back in time, way back, to 16th century Italy, where a guy named Niccolò Machiavelli wrote a little book called The Prince. This book is like the OG guide to power. It's all about how to get it, how to keep it, and how to use it. Machiavelli didn't sugarcoat anything. He laid out the brutal truths of political power. No idealism here, just cold, hard realism. Machiavelli was all about the ends, justifying the means. Machiavelli said it's better to be feared than loved, if you have to choose. He believed fear was a more reliable motivator than love. He believed that a ruler needs to be cunning, ruthless, and willing to do whatever it takes to stay in charge. This wasn't about morality, it was about survival and dominance. Now let's be clear, The Prince isn't exactly a feel-good story, it's a manual for power, stripped of any pretense of ethics. It's not about being a nice guy or playing by the rules. It's about winning, even if it means getting your hands dirty. Sounds familiar? This is where Trump comes in. Trump's critics often accused him of being a Machiavellian figure. They saw parallels between his tactics and those described by Machiavelli. And you know what? They might have had a point. Trump wasn't afraid to use fear and intimidation to get his way. Trump wasn't afraid to use fear and intimidation to get his way. He knew how to manipulate emotions and control the narrative. He attacked his opponents relentlessly. He didn't just debate them, he sought to destroy their credibility. He spread misinformation and conspiracy theories. This wasn't just about winning arguments. It was about shaping reality to fit his agenda. He even encouraged violence at his rallies. This was a tactic to instill fear and demonstrate power. Remember how Machiavelli said it's better to be feared than loved? Well, Trump seemed to take that to heart. He ruled through fear, through anger, through division. He ruled through fear, through anger, through division. He knew that a divided nation is easier to control. And he wasn't afraid to exploit those divisions for his own gain. He used every tool at his disposal to maintain his grip on power. Now, some people might say, hold on, Trump wasn't a prince, he was a democratically elected president. And they'd be right. He was a democratically elected president. And they'd be right. But the core principles of the prince can be applied to more than just monarchs. They can be applied to anyone seeking power, whether it's in politics, business, or even just your local PTA meeting. They can be applied to anyone seeking power, whether it's in politics, business, or even just your local PTA meeting. The lessons of Machiavelli are timeless, and they continue to resonate in today's world. Let's hop over to 19th century Germany, a time of great intellectual and cultural upheaval, and meet another influential thinker, Friedrich Nietzsche, a philosopher whose ideas would challenge and reshape the way we think about life and society. This guy was all about questioning everything, from morality to religion to the very nature of existence. He famously declared, "God is dead," a statement that shocked the world and sparked endless debates. But he wasn't just trying to be edgy or provocative. He was making a profound point about the changing nature of human belief. He was saying that the old ways of thinking, the old systems of belief, were no longer relevant in the modern world. The world was evolving, and so too must our ideas and values. We needed a new way forward, a new set of principles to guide us in this rapidly changing landscape. And that's where his idea of the Übermensch comes in. The Übermensch, or Superman, is Nietzsche's ideal individual, a person who transcends the ordinary and achieves greatness. The Übermensch, or Superman, is Nietzsche's ideal individual, someone who rises above the common herd. This isn't about wearing a cape and flying around. It's about something much deeper and more profound. It's about embracing your own power, your own will to create, to overcome, to become the best version of yourself. It's about self-mastery and self-overcoming. The Übermensch doesn't follow the herd. He stands out, he leads, he inspires. He doesn't bow down to convention. He challenges the status quo and forges his own path. He forges his own path, creating his own destiny with every step he takes. He creates his own values, his own meaning, his own purpose in life. He embraces life with passion and intensity, living each moment to the fullest. Now you might be thinking, what does this have to do with Trump? How does this philosophical concept relate to a modern political figure? Well, Trump, in his own way, embodies some aspects of the Nietzschean spirit. He's a self-made man, a figure who has carved out his own path in the world, a billionaire who built an empire from scratch. His journey from a real estate developer to the President of the United States is a testament to his ambition and drive. He's a fighter who's not afraid to challenge the status quo. He's a rule breaker, a norm shatterer, a disruptor. He thrives on controversy and confrontation. He's not afraid to speak his mind, even if it offends people. He believes in his own vision and pursues it relentlessly. Trump, like the Übermensch, believes in his own exceptionalism. He sees himself as a unique individual, destined for greatness. He believes that he's destined for greatness. His confidence and self-assuredness are key aspects of his persona. He's not afraid to take risks, to make bold moves, to push the boundaries. His career is marked by audacious decisions and high-stakes gambles. He's driven by an unyielding will to win, to succeed, to dominate. His competitive nature is evident in everything he does. To succeed, to dominate. He thrives on victory and is relentless in his pursuit of success. And he's not afraid to step on a few toes along the way. His willingness to challenge others are hallmarks of his approach.
Ultimately, it's going to be you, the viewers and the voters, who will decide whether Trump's methods and the philosophies behind them align with your idea of what is ethical and acceptable in leadership. As we head into the next election, Trump is poised to return to the office. And the question remains, will he rise to the occasion and do better? Or will history repeat itself in a way we may not expect? These are crucial questions, and the answers are in black and white. Leadership, ethics, and power have always been complex and open to interpretation. But it's up to us to stay informed and engaged, so keep asking questions, stay curious, and dive deeper into these debates. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more thought-provoking content right here on the Boring Channel 8.